All I need you to do is take that ridiculous hat off. That's it. That's all you need to do. Take a clown hat. That's you.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sick Golf Trips podcast, where everyday golfers share their stories, budgets, formats, mistakes, and more, so you can get ideas and get inspired to make your memory with your own sick golf trip. I'm your host, 𝐸𝐞𝐬, along with my co-host, Berkeley Hoagland. How's it going, Burke?
It's going amazing, everybody. Loving life. Everything's good. I'm getting ready for our big Japan trip coming up this weekend. So we're getting all packed in, getting loaded in, ready to go.
Japan, that's quite a trip. You gonna get any golfing out over there?
Oh my God, I wish I could, but I'm not going to be able to get any golf in. I mean, I remember you did tell me that I could rent golf clubs, but I don't know, if I'm going to be able to pull away or what. But I'm telling you, I would love to experience a round of golf in Japan. I heard it was unbelievable. I heard like after 9, you have lunch. They wash your clubs for you. They take care of you real good. And I heard the golf stores over there are unbelievable, out of control, crazy.
So here's the thing with that. I went there last year, and yeah, the golf experience looks unique, looks super appealing. I wanted to go. I tried to go as well, but we were only there for 9-10 days. And the golf outside of Tokyo was an hour and a half outside to get there. It was a pain in the ass at the end of the day, and with the limited days, I didn't want to take away from the family time, so I didn't go. But yeah, it's something I would definitely love to do because I heard it is a unique experience. In terms of the golf stores, I mean, you're in Japan, right? So space is smaller, and yeah, a golf store is 9 stories. But at the end of the day, is it bigger than Roger Dunn? I don't know.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
9 floors. I was just interested to see what different products they have that haven't reached America.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? One of our sponsors, Ashton Golf, TaylorMade ripped them off. The TaylorMade Trust putter is the #1 selling putter in Japan, but they can't sell it over here because of the design patent.
Wow.
But other than that, to be honest, I didn't really see anything groundbreaking or tremendously different that I thought, at least.
Well, the other thing too is I'm so big into like clothes, right? Golf outfits and stuff. So that's one thing I definitely want to pick up. But I guarantee they ain't going to have 3X. I haven't seen a 300-pound Japanese dude ever. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not as much into the fashion, clearly by my hat. But yeah, I didn't look too much. But I would imagine you would find some different things out there. So
yeah, I can't wait. I'm hoping that there's wherever we are, I'll search a golf store and see if I can head over there and check it out.
How's it going to play for your golf game, taking a week or 2 off?
I think it'll be all right. I think when you're playing a lot, you're getting your swings in. Gary, every freaking swing is different. You know what I mean? We don't have enough practice as an amateur to be confident in every swing we do and every lie that comes up and every putt we make. So, Gary, I don't take it that serious. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out there, I am having the best time of my life, and I'm just enjoying being out there with my buddies. And one day I score 100, next day I score in the 80s. It's all good.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because, when I was playing a lot, I cared a lot. And through the winter, I was single handicap at end of last summer. But into the winter with the mushy ground, I just went to shit. And now that I'm playing a little bit less, still somewhat consistently though, but I've found a tempo and what I guess I would call a less careness, just a more free flow.
Yeah.
And I'm just swinging freely and not caring as much about the score, and my game is coming back. I hit the single digits again, and my driver is hot right now with the smooth tempo swing. Everything's feeling good.
Gary, I've only golfed with you one time. That one time that we did golf, I mean, you are what? You're like 4.42, maybe 4.2, 4.3, and you are hitting the ball like 3 miles more than I am. And I'm like, where is this guy getting all this energy? And us being hockey players, I think you get more rotation out of your swing than I do. I think I'm more like, I'm not getting the full, maybe it's because of all my shoulder surgeries and stuff. I can't really get it.
So shoulder and knees.
Shoulder, knees. I'm not getting the full rotation of my hips. That's what I think. But it's crazy, man. Every drive is different. You know what I mean? Like I can do 3 or 4 holes, boom, and the next 3 holes I'm freaking all over.
Yeah, like I said, I found a good tempo, and I feel like I can hit anything somewhat straight. The driver's been great.
That's
And it helps
awesome.
a lot. This week's sponsored is Elite Skills System. Bert, tell us about ESS.
ESS is my new endeavor, and we supply steel studs and steel framing for commercial and residential homes. And we're going to be producing our steel out of Las Vegas, and we're going to be able to ship nationwide. So in the near future, I will be able to supply some steel studs, some steel panels for commercial and residential housing.
So who should call you?
I would love for GCs, anyone that is in the commercial side of the business. Most commercial buildings nowadays are built with steel studs. They're not using stick. Residential hasn't converted that over yet, but gradually people are starting to look at it as a viable alternative. You know, with all the fires here in California, with all the fires
I
going
was
around.
thinking that.
Yeah, building a fully fire resistant home could be a fantastic way to go if you are in a burn area. So we do everything from ADUs, could go all the way down to 500 square feet, 400 square feet, all the way up to a 10,000 square feet home. And we can also build 14 stories high commercial.
Where do they go to get more information?
Contact me, Berkeley Hoagland, 714-206-2222.
Fantastic. So this week we've got Patrick Koenig. Patrick is a golf photographer who takes shots of golf courses all over the world, I believe. We'll get into that. So welcome to the show, Patrick. How's it going?
Hey, thanks, guys. It's going great. It's a beautiful morning out here in Hawaii. We've got a little bit. I guess it's a vacation from my job that pretty much is a vacation. So things are going really well. We're a happy crew here. We've got a new little girl. We just took her to a buffet, and she made a complete mess of the place, which was great fun.
Good memories.
That sounds like me when I go to a buffet. It's a smorgasbord. I'm leaving there with a gib on. People are chasing me saying, "Hey, man, you're taking too much food." I love it.
That's how you should do a buffet. I mean, if they don't argue with you for eating too much food, did you really even go to the buffet, right?
Right. That's
When
awesome.
growing up, my brother and I used to go to the buffets. We used to be like, "Yeah, we're going to put this place out of business."
I mean, she tried.
Yeah.
She spilled most of it on the floor, which I guess counts as food consumed in there from their perspective. But we did a good job of eating healthy this
Hey,
morning.
Patrick, I don't believe a damn word he just said. Me and my brothers go to a buffet and we're going to put him on a... The dude's like 4'2", not even 98 pounds. He's probably just as tall as your new daughter. What's he going to be doing? He ain't eating nothing. He'll eat a cracker and he's full.
When it came to seafood back in the day, we would put it down.
Oh,
Berkeley, I tend to believe you. I was like, I don't know how much Gary's really putting away here.
look at him.
If you look at guys at the professional eating contest, like Joey Chestnut or Kobe, these guys are not big dudes. Maybe he's one of those type,
I mean, if you took a look at Kerry's hat, you would think he was a lot bigger at one point of his life. You see that freaking hat, dude? It's insane. I think he's got another person underneath that hat. There's another person under there.
It's coming through a little grainy, but I can still see the large gaps on the above his. Significant.
I told him to take it off. He won't take it off.
I won't take it off just because you told me to take it off.
Jesus. Hey, Patrick, man, I can't wait to hear what you do. I'm fascinated on what you do. I don't know what exactly you do. I know you take photos. You went on a trip to friggin' New York and Chicago and you went to 19 golf courses? What the hell's going on?
Add in there, do you golf or do you just take photos?
I play golf. I'm not just taking photographs. As a golf course photographer, I joke with my clients that playing the golf course is part of my process. And it sounds like a way to play some golf, but it actually makes a huge difference. As a photographer, you can get the different angles and see tee boxes or just kind of explore the course and see it as a golfer would, which is incredibly valuable to what I do as a golfer and a photographer, as a golf course photographer. As a golfer, that skill is incredibly useful to seeing the golf course how a golfer would see it and capturing imagery that speaks to golfers. And having seen so many different golf courses, I know what's actually interesting to a player, whether it's a particular hazard, a way that a light comes through, something just special or unique to that place. And then I use that information to kind of create my image and put together a composition that makes for a really great golf course photograph.
Yeah, so like if I owned a golf course am I specifically reaching out to you to say, hey, Patrick, I want to pay you to come do a photo shoot and to promote my course?
So that's the majority of my business. It's pretty straightforward. Courses are reaching out to me and they're like, Patrick, we need some imagery, some updated course imagery. We need some drone shots. We need some aerial views. I do drone videography as well. I have a following on social media. So I kind of package all this stuff together for an offering to a golf course. And it's been very successful to the point where I'm turning people down. I've got full calendar through pretty much the end of September. And October's filling up quickly. So like through the rest of the golf season, I'll be as busy as I want to be. That's to me, that's a dream.
That is amazing.
Because when I first started doing this, I was like, hey, if I could just make enough to survive, this would be great. And now I'm at the point where like I'm thriving, really. I'll never take it for granted. The fact that I get to do what I would, I would do this for free. And I did do it for free kind of starting out because I just loved golf courses. I loved capturing the places we play. There's no place I'd rather be. It's my favorite place in the world, other than hanging out with my girls and my wife, is on a golf course, right? And so that was the way that I took that memory with me, was a photograph. I was like, this is great. And so it comes from a place of passion. And I think that that's why I'm able to stand out from some of the others that do this, and where I've kind of made my way. It's a relentless sort of just desire to capture all of the photographs, get all the shots, get the very best one at every place that I go to.
So what kind of golfer are you?
I'm pretty good. I've been down to, I think my lowest handicap was a plus 0.5. So I've been scratched. I hover around a 1 or a 2. I'll hang. I had a 66 recently, which is a little bit. That's pushing the edge of my abilities. But when the putter gets hot, it was going down. I was making putts from all over town. So that was really cool. But
I'm going to tell you right now that if I got you on the golf course, you ain't going to be no scratch golfer golfing with me, okay? All right?
Probably not.
I'm going to put the African wamba on you. I go like this, right when you're in your backswing, I go, wah-la-la-la. And then next thing you know, you're shanking, you're missing putts, and you're losing your mind. And guess what's going to happen at the end, Patrick? You're going to be paying the black man. I'm going to be paying the black man.
I've never had the African wamba on me before, so I don't know how I would react to the wamba. I would love to give it a shot, see if I can prove you wrong. And, if not, I happily pay just for the experience of getting the wamba.
Does your wife play then as well, Patrick?
It's funny because I play so much. And, in 2023, I set the world record for most different 18-hole golf courses played in a single year. So I played 580 golf courses. She supported me. She supported me on that trip. So she doesn't really even play. But recently she's taken an interest. She's like, wants to kind of come out and have something to do, or like, let's go play. So we got her some clubs. She goes out every once in a while. Recently went to just this little par 3 place with our little daughter, and we had so much fun just hitting it around. And she ran the fairways. It wasn't too busy out there, so we kind of just had ourselves a good time. She's got some new clubs. So she's a very beginner. She's not going out for a proper 18, but she knows how to have fun out there, which is new. And I'm very excited to, kind of share my passion with her. She's not nowhere the level of passion and insane desire that I am, but that's probably a good thing. Otherwise we'd be in real trouble.
Right. So let me ask you this. So in terms of a business, when you said it's very successful, are you going to these golf courses with just you, your wife, and your daughter? Do you have another person that you're training to kind of like take pictures the way you take pictures? And if you've got a couple jobs, instead of doing those 19 courses in 10 days, you could have only done 8, and then your person that you've trained did the other 8. Is that something that you've ever entertained?
Photography is an art. And so it's one of those things that you can scale, but you're going to throw away that art piece because nobody's going to take a photograph like me. I don't care how I train them or do this. Like, everybody's got a way they see the course, and the details are just so many in a photograph. Obviously be somebody else behind that lens. Everybody has a different style. Every single photographer that I know that's very good at what they do, I might be able to look at one of their photographs and like I could tell you who it was, because it's just, they're that unique to the individual. So when it comes to scale, I'm kind of I'm doing as much as I can, as one person can humanly possibly do in this business. And I love it. But yeah, in order to scale and to create a business of size, right, it does require a huge degree of letting go. You'd have to come up with an entirely different business plan if that's something that you wanted to do. And I know a couple out there, I've seen a couple where they have different photographers on there and they're kind of offering this different thing. And I don't know how successful that really is. And to me, it's nice. It's pretty manageable when it's just myself. You start bringing in other people, you're like, all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm responsible for this other person's livelihood. They got a family, they're putting food on the table. It's like, then that becomes a responsibility that I would take very seriously. And then it becomes, I respect all these small business owners for what they do. They have, somebody with a dozen employees. That's a big responsibility. You go to the next level. Right now, it's kind of like, I want to take a month off and go to Hawaii, hang out with my family. Nobody cares. As long as I don't have clients that week, I can do what I want. And that's incredibly freeing. That's really, really pretty awesome. Especially if we got young kids. We want to make sure that those are valuable times. So I'm told, and I'm learning. So I'm happy to be here for those sort of things.
I absolutely love it.
I want to dig into the 500 and some odd courses you played in a year. A, what inspired that? And B, how did you actually manage that logistically?
Yeah. So it was in 2018, I quit my job and bought an RV, and I was just going to drive around the country playing golf to see if I could become a golf. I wasn't even focused on specifically photography. That's what it ended up becoming. But in 2018, I quit my job just to see if I could make it in golf. I wasn't really fulfilled as a software salesman. I was good at it and it made some money, but there comes a point where you're like, I just closed a big deal and I don't feel anything. I want to go create something in golf. So I was kind of getting a traction within golf via Instagram and social media. So I quit my job. Let's see where this takes me. I'm just going to go.
Okay. When you say make it in golf, what do you mean? Like make it like to
anywhere?
Like,
I was
pro player.
I would have been happy if like TaylorMade would have hired me onto their staff doing anything. I was really just I didn't have a specific goal in mind. This is back in 2018. Very quickly after I kind of did this journey around the country and met a bunch of people, I realized that it was photography that I was really interested in, and making that as a career kind of became a much more of a focus point later on. But initially I was just like, I'm quitting my job. I gotta see what I can find in golf. So it was kind of just like a jump off. I just jumped. And I always tell people, when people are like, what should I do about my job? I was like, man, the best thing you can do is if you just quit your job and jump, you're going to realize that you're actually way more resilient than you think you are, especially if you're swimming in a pond. You jump off into an area that you love. And I was like, I love golf. And so anywhere I find, I'm going to be incredibly excited about. And it becomes, all of a sudden, you free all this resources up that you were dedicating to a job that you didn't really love. And then you also have more passion. There's no when 5 o'clock comes, I'm stopping. There's none of that. They're like, I don't even care what 5 o'clock comes. And when 5 o'clock comes, I'm like, oh man, the sun's going down. Let's get to work. Right. So there's you just throw out this worker bee attitude and then adopt a entrepreneurial spirit, which is more passionate, more fun, does not feel like work, but you end up doing, if I count the hours that I work.
I absolutely love what you're saying, because I think that's one big issue that the world has and that people have is, number one, they don't have that entrepreneurship type spirit, right? So that also makes it a little bit difficult if your corporate world goes a little awry. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you don't have anything to fall back on. And that's why I say to my son, what is your passion? What is your passion? Because a lot of times, like you just said it, Patrick, that you have a passion for photography and that you could do it for free. You know what I mean? Like getting a passion, finding that passion and then getting paid for it and then making a living and raising a daughter, being a husband. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I love it, man. I absolutely love that you made that commitment. Love that you jumped. And that's awesome. Love it. Much respect for you, bro.
Well, thanks, Berkeley. And don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm also very lucky. I feel very fortunate. And I recognize that a lot of people hearing this is like, it's just tough to find. I'm one of the lucky ones, but I tell you, if you kind of go off and you got to take that jump and that leap to to figure out what that is for you. And then, it took me a couple years before I was like, there was a couple of times where I was like, I'm making rent, and then I got some job that kind of bridged me to the next one, and then I found something, and then like, if I'm doing good work, and then there was kind of a point, 4 years ago where it was like, oh man, this is good. And then COVID came and like then wrecked all my dreams. I had like all this, I had a big pipeline of jobs. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be good. I'm good. And then COVID came, and it was like that week everybody canceled, and I was like, oh, I just watched like 50 grand of revenue just float out the window, and I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? But that resiliency and that passion can power you through the most insane times that would not seem possible. And it didn't take long before that this sort of COVID fog lifted, and we got back to work. But I think the question was, how did I mean, we were getting towards the tour, the world record that I set. And how did I manage the logistics of that? So anyways, when I did that first one, I ended up playing about 400 courses that year in 2018. And towards the end, somebody told me, hey, the world record's 449. And I almost set the world record like accidentally, just kind of. So it's like, oh, if I tried this, I could easily do it. And so I had a sponsor come along, Golf Gamebook, scorekeeping app. You probably see I think the Good boys are on there now. They're doing some stuff there. They remembered the first tour and like, what would you do if you did it again? And it's like, well, I would set the world record. I do this and this. And then all these ideas sort of come like from the content you can create on the road, and just how fun it would be to have some content from an RV driving around the country playing golf every single day. And so that was the big key. So we got an RV, we branded it, and then I just went from one to the next. Round of golf in the morning, drive, round of golf in the afternoon. And, went across 41 states, did 3 countries. I went over to Finland and Sweden to visit with the Golf Gamebook folks and had the time of my life. I did everywhere from, 18 holes was a day off. 36 was pretty normal. I probably did 54 10 times, and I did 72 one day, which was probably a little too. I mean, 4 courses in one day, that'll wear anybody out. And
that is crazy, dude. That is absolutely crazy.
So you are the world record holder now, is that correct?
No, so I inspired this guy over in the UK to go for it as well. And so he called me like right when I was like done. He was like, I'm going to break your record. I'm going to go for it. And I was like, go for it, dude. Like, you're going to have so much fun breaking this record. I love the fact that, I mean, I almost would rather, everybody likes to have their own record. I think he did over 600. So he really went for it. But I mean, it was like, everybody loves to have, nobody wants to see their record broken, but it's also like, I inspired this guy to have the year of his life. Like, without me, like, he doesn't have that year, and that's a gift. I mean, that a few of us have. So it was really cool to see that. And quite honestly, when you look back at it, like, nobody really cares who currently has the record. But I mean, maybe they do. But the experience, the year, the memory, those sort of things, that's what really matters. And nobody's going to take that away from me. And nobody's going to take it away from him or the people that came before me. We all had these conversations. We're part of like this cool little club of people that were record holders. And I don't know, it's such a commitment that I don't, if nobody's like inspired immediately after his, like if I wasn't going to go back and try to break his. Now, if I was a single guy and didn't have a kiddo, like I would break his record. But it's also like, I can't do it. I can't do it now. I can't do it to my daughter. Can't do it to my family.
Yeah.
You can't say, hey, daddy's going to go play golf for a year and we'll see in a year. It just doesn't seem like the right thing to do for me and my family at this point. Yeah. Ginger Golf out of the UK. I think he played over 600. Great guy. So
Patrick, we talked a little bit before about, this isn't going to be about necessarily a sick trip, although that year sounds like a sick trip in and of itself. But we wanted to get from you, because you played so many golf courses around the U.S., give us the lay of the land. What's good for where, which time of year, so that then we can ask the audience, hey, if you've gone to this place, this time of year or whatever, we want to hear about it. Reach out to us and we'll have them on the pod to talk about their trip to that area. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, well, it's the fun thing is, like, I've been to every great golf destination in the United States, which is really cool to say and to think through all those. So I mean, I would almost pull up a map and you could go from, the West Coast to out east. And, I started out with one of my favorite things. Chambers Bay is almost a destination and a little trip on its own. You get a chance to go to Seattle. That was the very first course and the very last course that I played on my little trip of golf. And so there's a couple other courses you can pair into around there. It's not quite like you go down the street and play Bandon Dunes, which is the mecca of sick golf trips for sure. And I don't think we need to do. I mean, you could do a whole podcast on what's great about.
We've done one.
About Bandon Dunes, right? And so most people, if they have their head screwed on straight, are going to recognize that Bandon Dunes it's in the lead and it's in a class by itself. Now they're the same company's doing other stuff in the middle of Wisconsin. That's another great spot where Sand Valley is getting bigger. And I think they just cracked open Rodeo Dunes, north of Denver. So as you're kind of going across and listening to these great places, and there's a lot of good public options for people to go. The stuff that really is the most special in America, unfortunately, and for the golfing public, is a lot of the private clubs. So to get a audience and a network of people that allows me to pop into some of these places. And, if you go to the Monterey Peninsula and, you can have a great trip there just doing Pebble Beach, right? You spend a lot of money. But if you can throw in a Monterey Peninsula Country Club or even a little place like Tehama or the Preserve, you'd be really lucky to throw in Cypress Point. Your trip kind of gets like this super juice of excitement to go to those private places. But that's another good one. Pebble Beach is, I think, a pretty obvious one on the list. I'm trying to think some of the other ones that came up recently. Big Cedar is a cool place. That's a good one. Everybody saw it on the Internet Invitational out there in the Ozarks. Johnny is building that's an absurd sort of thing with the putting green out there. Well, it was a putting green. I don't know if you guys heard this story, but there's a big, cool putting green. I think Tom Watson designed it. And then it fell into a sinkhole one morning. And so now if you're going into the range, you'll see all these sort of like beautiful sinkhole things that he's kind of dug out. Now he's building hotels on top of this stuff. But I think it plays as a range. They might have even closed the range and just dug out this beautiful sort of underground. It looks like stalactites or stalagmites sticking up from the ground. And I'm not sure how long they far with the hotels there, but that's a really cool, dramatic place out there in the Ozark. And still pretty, middle of the country, still pretty, I think probably popular after that Internet Invitational. So that's another good place. I mean, they just keep going on and on.
Yeah. So Patrick, when you got in your car, in your RV, the first day, the first couple days and weeks, did you write down every course and map it out before? And did you call them and let them know you were coming? Or did you have to pay for every course? Or did you say, okay, I'm going to start here, and then you would just be golf course near me and you would just play any course? Like, how did you pick those courses?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it was a mixture of all the things you mentioned. So the way that I did it first, I'm like, this is overwhelming. How am I going to play over 500 rounds of golf in a year? Like, how do I even start? And so I said, all right, well, let's figure out the weather. Where do I want to be playing? What area of the country is doable in December? And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to have to start. I lived in California, so I'm like, all right, I can start here in California and just play here for a little bit. And then I was like, as it gets better, I wanted to get to the East Coast because there's a lot of great stuff there that I hadn't seen for summer. So I was like, all right, well, so I'll plan the spring through like Texas and some of the southern states, and I get over to Florida. And then when summer hits, everything is kind of open. So from a weather perspective, you can play anywhere. And then I was like, as fall comes, I'm going to go back. I'm going to head back through the Midwest, cut through as many of those kind of northern eastern states. The Dakota's a little bit questionable. It's a lot of driving, not a lot of dense golf. And so then I came through. So I had my route. So basically I had this route that kind of goes to the bottom, back through the top of the country, down, finishes, up through Vegas and Arizona and back into California. And then I actually finished up at Chambers Bay. So I went up in like January because you can still play over there. So I had this route of all these different places, and I was basically spending a week, maybe 2 weeks in some of the big states. And I had kind of this timeline with a route that would make sense. And then I was like, all right, here's where I'm going to be. So I was like, I opened it up to anybody that wanted to be a part of the tour. I was like, here's the schedule, send me a request of where I'm going to be. So I had like, I'm going to be in Arizona for these dates. And so the requests started pouring in via my website. So I created a spreadsheet, and I was like, all right, I have requests to play these courses in New York, and it was like 100. So as I'm receiving all of these requests to play, that I kind of filled in my schedule from there. So people that invited me out, and then there were some gaps. Obviously, there's some special things. Maybe I have a news cruise coming out, or somebody wants to host me and pay me to do photography for something like that. So I had like these big bullet points, and then when I'd show up, maybe had an open afternoon, that quickly would fill up with somebody that I played with, and like, you got to come play this place. So it was really a viral sort of fun thing. And I could have stayed in St. Louis for the entire summer, the way that they were so happy to have me take me from one course to the next. And that was the way in almost every city. It was just a joyous ride. And I ended up having more golf than I could possibly play. And a lot of it I didn't have to pay for. There were some times where I'm like, all right, I need a course this afternoon. I would even like go on, like, I think I did Golf Now or something a handful of times, and I just pick up some whatever course. It had to be 6,000 yards, and I'd go play it, to get in an afternoon round of golf. So it was a good mixture of all those different things. And then obviously that does a great job. You're in some weird spots, and you find some places that are like a little bit of a hidden gem, which everybody wants to know about the hidden gems. The one that I bring up, because it's like now with Instagram, I mean, all the hidden gems have all been really exposed.
Everything's exposed. Yeah.
Yeah, unless it's some private club that they don't want any, you get in trouble for posting photographs of, and like, those places want their anonymity as much as they can. But for a public place, one of the ones that I thought was really cool that most people still haven't heard of, and I've never seen anybody else that's went to it, a place called Devil's Thumb in Western Colorado. Western Colorado is kind of like nobody goes there because everybody goes to Denver and kind of stays in that area. But if you drive across the strait, and not to say nobody goes there, but like it's not as explored. And as you go through the western half of that, there's some really wild terrain. And it was a $50 tee time green fee. And there's some really wild, kind of unique, fun holes that photograph incredibly well with the drone. So if you pull up any of my photography from Devil's Thumb, you'll see these kind of like rolling hills. Reminds me a little bit of like, you've seen pictures of, everybody knows about Wolf Creek. It's got kind of that topography, but not quite as circusy golf. So I really like Devil's Thumb. Another one this one had kind of eluded me, and I was surprised I hadn't heard of it when I took off. But I was in Arizona, my buddy sent me a picture of this place, and I hadn't seen it, and I figured it was international, because that's usually what stuff I haven't seen. But no, it was this place in Texas called Blackjack's Crossing. Was another one. And I remember I was taking a crap on the toilet when he sent me this, and I was looking at it. And by the time I got up, I rerouted my route to go play Blackjack's Crossing. And boy, was I glad I did. West Texas is kind of like a adventurous place where there is that spirit of exploration still kind of exists, because there's just so much nothing. And the stuff that you run into is a little bizarre and a little weird. And this one is right on the border. Usually, I think it's like the 15th hole. If you really hit a really powerful hook, you can actually hit it into Mexico. But it's just beautiful. I think like Lanny Watkins designed it. The topography is amazing. And it's this cool little ranch vibe. I think it's got, to give you an idea of the spirit, during the, I don't know, whatever it was, some sort of purging of the nation's monuments that had some sort of shady past or something like that. And I think this was like some sort of soldier that, I don't know what he had done, but there was a statue in like downtown Dallas. They'd been removed. And the owner of this place had bought that statue, and he put it on the range. and I was like, wasn't that? He was telling me this story, and it was just kind of this like screw 'em sort of attitude that embodied the spirit of that place. And despite your political leanings or left or right, I thought it was very cool to see that in America things like that can go down. Somebody has the freedom to express what they want. I enjoyed that. I probably don't agree with some of the things that man on that statue did, but I definitely agree with the thing that the man that owned that golf course did, is he bought the statue and he put it on his freaking driving range because he's pissed that they took it from like downtown Dallas. And I was like, right on, dude. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's funny.
And I played that golf course, and I absolutely loved it. So that's Blackjack's Crossing in Lajitas, Texas. It's out there. It's like a 7-hour drive from San Antonio if you want some. But those are my two kind of like big ones.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. Like we took the family to Bend, Oregon last week, and I never think there's golf out there, but there's golf everywhere. And the courses that they had there were gorgeous.
Yeah.
We golfed 3 days and ended up being almost a half golf trip with the family. Where some of the dads escaped for the golf, and it was awesome. So I totally understand like you going to all these places and finding these great courses to play and or photograph that you would have never otherwise heard of or stumbled upon. So I think what you're doing is awesome.
Yeah, there really is. If you do a little bit of research and understand, you can turn anywhere in America into an amazing golf trip. I think that's kind of what it was, and I proved that for every day was something spectacular. In terms of like the places that people go to, is because they have the lodging all kind of figured out and stuff like that. And with my RV, I had that all figured out. Like it was just, that was my resort. That was a traveling resort. But, Bend is obviously is filled with great places. You've got, Cathro and Pronghorn there, Brasada Ranch, even like Bend, there's like a little 9-holer there. So that's a fantastic place for a golf trip that people don't think of. But really any sort of city, if you find a good place to kind of hunker down and a couple cool places to play some golf, you can make it in America anywhere you want. It doesn't have to be a premium resort.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. Like you can pay $5,000 to $10,000 and have a fantastic golf experience that everybody wants or hears about. But there's so many economical trips that you can, like you're saying, you pick a city and just plan around that. And it could be, you can have a great time with a bunch of buddies for probably $2-3 grand.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's any big city, especially in America, there's a lot of golf around because there's people right. So the golf courses go where the golfers are going to be. But I'm trying to think every big city. I even mentioned St. Louis earlier. I just obviously did a bunch of golf courses around Chicago and New York and stuff like that. I understand that not everybody has access to the private clubs or has built a network like I have. So some cities are better than others. I mean, the whole state of Wisconsin is I feel like open for public golf. They got a couple private places there, but Wisconsin and Michigan are great states for public golf.
Yeah, so we actually had a guy with Wisconsin golf trips. So
is that Jason? I feel like I played with Jason.
Yeah, with Jason, exactly.
Yeah. So we
nice.
played.
Oh
yeah, I know everybody in Wisconsin specifically because in between my first and second big golf trips, I did what they called a internship. I was 40 years old. It was a 40-year-old intern, and they put this thing out. They're like, the WSGA was looking for an intern to basically play golf and do social media about it. And I wasn't going to do it because I was like, I'm 40. I'm not an intern. This is for the kids out of college. But people say, you should do this, you should do this. And so I made kind of this jokey thing on my website. I think it's still up there. It was an application where I listed my ex-wife as a reference for how much I love golf. And it was, it was kind of a fun thing, listing my qualifications, and the guys over at the Wisconsin State, Rob, read it and thought it was hilarious. And it's like, we gotta have you do this. We want you to do it. So the position is yours. He's like, well, he's like, we're actually still going to hire. I didn't want to take it away from the kids in college that wanted to do it. So they actually ended up hiring Bobby Stricker, who was just right out of college, a Madison grad, and obviously daughter of Hall of Famer Steve Stricker. They hired her as another intern. So it was me and Bobby on the internship trail. We did it a little bit differently. Bobby still had some competitive playing to do. And, she was trying to figure out her whole life post-college. And meanwhile, I was like on the road, just golfing like an insane man. I think I did 70 courses, maybe it was 80 in 50 days. I think it was 80, 78 courses in 50 days. You can see it on my website. It's the WSGA intern. I went all over that state and just golfed every single little bit of Wisconsin goodness. And I loved it. I mean, it was just the people there, the cheese, the sort of just fun. It's got this very approachable Midwestern, feel to the golf, and from the water parks and the dells to the courses at Kohler. The courses at Kohler are some of the best public golf in the country.
Yeah,
and they're plentiful. So those were kind of like the big boys at the end. But I explored that entire state. Not too many courses left to uncover. Eagle Springs. If you go play Kohler, go play. I think it's Eagle Springs. They got this little 9-holer out there that nobody goes to. And I've been telling people for years, like, if you're going to Kohler and don't go to Eagle Springs, like, you did it wrong. I mean, because that's this really cool golden age sort of. They have this volcano hole. Like, I would go just to play the second hole there. It's the size of a penny, the green, and it's on the top of a volcano. There's like a It's such a fun golf shot.
Wow, yeah.
You need to go find yourself some Eagle Springs Resort. It's 9 holes. There's probably like 4 or 5 really, really cool, like golden age feeling golf holes out there to do that. So another hidden gem to tack on to your Wisconsin trip. But I mean, I could talk about every state like this.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have you back on. I've got so many ideas where we can go. But I know we're getting up at the time, but one last question for you. What is your favorite golf hole in the U.S.?
That's, it's almost an unfair question because there's thousands of golf holes that I'm like, that's such a good golf hole. Then it's like, then you got the par 3s and the par 4s and the par 5s. I'm going to break it down. Do the favorite par 3s.
Okay.
Shit. Now I'm in trouble even with this because Cypress Point's really got the couple over the 16 and 17. But I'll be a little bit, and that's obvious that everybody's gonna pick that because they probably are the best, most scenic for sure. But I do love the Lone Fir, the 15th hole at Chambers Bay, for a reason why I can say it's probably one of the most beautiful. It's because it's from the bunkering in front of it to the sound behind it. You've even got little islands on the beyond the sound, and that Lone Fir just coming up. The sun sets down behind it. There's a train track. You get like this little train that comes from time to time. Adds a great deal of interest. It's like there's just so many points that you can objectively look at that hole and be like, it's one of the coolest visual holes that there is. The green is interesting. It's got some good slopes too. You can kind of run it off the slope to the left, and there's a bunker that you don't want to find yourself in the left as well there. That hole is it's a thrill. Every time I played it, I probably played it, I lived in Seattle for a while. I probably played it like at least 50 times. Every time I get like really excited to play it, try to make a hole in one. Never have. Wait for the train to come and then hit the shot. That hole is really good. And now, obviously, I could go on and on about 16 and 17 at Cypress Point. I guess best par 4, probably go with a shorty. I'm running through the brain here on terms of like the best short par 4s. Most people are going to go to like Riviera, which is really cool. 10th hole coming out there. That's a dang good one. LA favorite. And then par 5. One of the things that I really love about Pine Valley, and Pine Valley is the best golf course in the world. And if it's not really close. So if people are like, oh, there's another, it's not. They haven't even been to Pine Valley. Pine Valley has the best. Every hole is
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing that makes Pine Valley so great is that every hole, all 18 holes, are as good as any of a similar of that type. There's no weak holes at Pine Valley. You could be in a room and know nothing about golf, like Gil Hanse and all the historians and everybody that knows everything about golf, and they could ask you what the best hole at Pine Valley is, and you could say 1 through 18, and they would go, that's a good point. It's because they're just so strong, so interesting. I love that. Maybe the second hole would be in the conversation. So this is so I haven't figured this out. I'll never figure out a definitive answer to best 3s and 4s and 5s or best golf hole, because
also
they all
depends on how you played it too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you evaluate it too. Like, and that's what's great about golf is that like how you played it, and you have this memory that I made a 2 there, and you love that hole for that reason. Some might say that's wrong. You should just evaluate the hole on the merits of the golf hole without your personal attachment to it. You don't have to, because golf is kind of that way. Like, you can interact with the art. You can have your personal experience and tie that to the hole, and you can love it for that reason. That's not wrong. It's just a different way to love the golf that you play.
You can have one hole, and I see it from certain angles because that's where I played it, but you see it from totally different angles, and it's a totally different golf hole from that perspective, right?
Yeah. Hey, Patrick, so tell me this. Somebody wanted to hire you. How do you do that? Are you playing while you're working, or are you just literally getting in a cart with your camera and you're going to every hole and you're trying to navigate what's going to be a good picture? How long does it take for you to complete your job on one course?
It's a good question. When I'm doing this thing and I'm kind of, my tour, I was just stopping for, a morning or something, and maybe I get a couple good photos, or maybe I don't. A professional photo shoot is much different than that, right? So people can reach out to me on my website. It's pjkoenig.com, or you can actually just Google Patrick Koenig golf course photography. My website will come up. It does well on the SEO stuff. So you can find me pretty easily. You send me a message there, and I always set up a consultation with every client that I have. Conversation like, okay, thanks for reaching out. What are you guys looking for? And so then we go through exactly what they're looking for from a photography standpoint, from a videography standpoint, from a media standpoint. And then I put together a customized package for exactly what they're looking for that fits their needs. Maybe they're looking for a website. Maybe they need something for, I just did a 𝐸𝐸 as 125th anniversary. They're putting together a book. I worked with Martin, who's putting together the book, so he gets exactly what he needs for that book. It's going to look great. So we kind of customize this job to whatever you need. And then 3 to 4 days, usually I go out there and I'm shooting in the sunrise and sunset are kind of your golden times, and a little bit before and after. Not to say you can't get something interesting in the middle of the day, but the stuff that really moves me is usually around those golden hour times. And it's about an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. Sometimes you get a storm that comes through, who knows, with weather, right? But that's why I do the 3 to 4 days. Gives me plenty of opportunities to get sunrises and sunsets, understand how the lighting hits the course that particular time of year, work with the superintendents to make sure they get their job done and that I'm doing a good job of capturing the holes that they might be on. Maybe we need to organize some sort of thing where I'm like, we need a pin flag front left, 7:15. It's going to be glorious that the light captures it just right. So I'm thinking about details that most people don't even fathom when it comes to these photography shoots. And then the thing is, it allows me to play some golf in the middle of the day. So that kind of shoot like that, where I'll go and, I've got the middle of the day to drop my photos and kind of look at them. It's like I can go play a round of golf and plenty of time to come back for an evening session and capture some photography of that. So, and I tell clients, I'm like, I'm not leaving until we get the best photographs of your golf course that you've ever seen. And that, bold claim, but I've been doing this enough now that I kind of know what it takes to get there. And that's a cool thing to have that ability to wow people. And there's nothing I love more is hearing a shocked or satisfied or amazed expressions.
Well, awesome, Patrick. Thank you so much for the insights. And if you want to find Patrick, 𝐶𝐞𝐭𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐬.com. Like I said, we're going to have you back on, Patrick. I'm going to hold you to that if that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about, I don't know if you can tell, I could talk about this for another 2-3 hours right now, but I'd gladly come back. Anytime you guys want to, you want to talk about this, that, or the other thing, we could dial down on a location and just talk about Wisconsin for 2 straight hours if you want.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that. I'd love that, but only if Carrie takes off that hat, because there's no possible way I could stare at that hat for one more minute. So I'm so glad that he was like, all right, we're done. Dying over here.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks again. And enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Thanks,
okay,
Patrick.
sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Great stuff. See you guys.
Bye.